Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in today's video. Today I want to go over this space within my home, the cabinet here, how I have styled it, and then try and give you guys an idea of where I got the items from, and yeah, go from there. So today we are standing within kind of two spots in my home. So I've got my TV area to the left side, and then I've got my eating space on the right side here. So in between the two spaces, I have this small area of wall space, which I have decorated with this cabinet and tried to make it as functional as possible. So this space has been ever evolving in terms of furniture items that we've had here. We used to have a small little cabinet that sat here, and it was great for the time being, but I think the more that you live within a space, the more you understand what your needs are. And so we have now changed it to a larger piece of furniture that kind of serves us better. It allows me to store a lot more items. I keep a lot of placemats in here, serving bowls, other dishware, and that's become super functional for us in terms of setting the table and hosting and stuff. So this cabinet here, I will try and get a better image of and shot. It is a piece that I purchased off of Facebook Marketplace, I think several years back. Actually, it used to live in one of our bedrooms. Again, the more we use the space, we realized that it kind of suited this spot better. It'll probably change down the road. I am not a person who tends to keep things the same, and I like being able to have the opportunity to switch things up and create a new look. So for now, it lives here. This cabinet used to be kind of a orangey tone stain. It worked for the bedroom space that it was in. However, when I moved it out into our main living space here, it was just the wrong tone for the space. I have a lot of other wood tones, and I found that the undertone of that really bright orange was just not flowing with the rest of my furniture pieces. So I actually went on a journey of trying to strip the piece, sand it down to the natural wood, which was, in the end, not a great result, to be honest. I do a lot of stripping of furniture, sanding, repurposing things, and I enjoy it thoroughly. But you don't always know what you're getting yourself into. A wood piece can look fairly easy in terms of stripping, and then sometimes you get started and it gives you a lot of grief. So I was in the process of stripping it down, and it just was not going to give me that result of a really nice warm kind of wood tone that I loved. And so when that happens, I try and remain calm. It is not a disaster because there's always other options. So in that case, I ended up painting it. That was not the original plan, but it just was not sanding right at all. I used multiple different tools in terms of trying to get it down to a good, nice grain, and it just was not working. So we didn't fight it. We painted it instead, which was fine. I actually have been wanting to use a brown color within my home for some time now. So I think it, in the end, resulted in me trying something new, and yeah, it turned out okay. So this color here is actually, I believe, a Pharaoh and Ball color. I forget the name of it, but I will try and link it in the description perhaps. It is a color matched paint color. We do not have Pharaoh and Ball where I live. So I actually went into my local Sherwin-Williams and gave them the paint sample, or the little swatch of the Pharaoh and Ball color, and I had them color match it, which does work. Most of the time I haven't had any issues with color matching paint colors. When I compared the two, they were very close, if not the same. So that was a super good result. And then I just gave it 2 coats of paint, and it turned out to be quite good coverage, and I like the brown color. I think that with a very neutral home, in which I have a lot of white walls, a lot of beige, which I love, but you need those pieces to contrast, in my opinion, to add some more warmth, to add that depth. And so incorporating some darker tones darker wood stains, darker paint colors, it does help achieve a little bit more of a balanced look. So I went ahead and gave that dark coat, and so far I'm loving it. The beauty of paint is you can always change it, as we know. So in a couple years, if I find the brown is just not my favorite anymore, I can always go ahead and repaint it. In terms of, I guess, the styling of the top of the piece, I'll kind of work my way through here. I have changed this styling up. Like I mentioned, I love changing things. So this has been many variations of different styles and such. But for now, I have kept this lamp here for quite some time now. It was a birthday gift I think a few years back now. I have been eyeing this lamp forever. It is a very common, popular lamp within the design world. Nothing new there, but I just have always loved it. The texture, the earthiness, the, age detail. I just loved the contrast of the black as well. I talk about incorporating dark colors. I loved it, but the price point I did not love. It was quite a investment. I was lucky enough and grateful enough to receive it as a birthday gift. I put it on my wish list, and one birthday I got it and I was thrilled. But it is definitely one of those pieces that is an investment and is expensive, I will say. That being said, the quality is amazing. I mean, there is a reason why people say you get what you pay for. This is one of those items that I do think, although the price is very steep, it is worth the money because you can feel the quality when you get it. So I love this lamp. It has served me well. I move it to multiple places within my home. Again, it hasn't always lived here, but for now I am loving it here. So that is that. The two frames here are both thrifted. I have kind of a larger chunky silver frame, and then the smaller one. I've talked about this in other videos where I love incorporating two different sizes of things, creating that layered look. So both are silver plated. They're gonna hopefully last a long time with the quality of it. And yeah, the small and the large creates that kind of layered and cozy kind of collected look. So I've got one photo in here. I have yet to put a photo in this small little one. I actually recently just purchased that one. So I'm hoping to put a little Polaroid photo or some kind of memory or keepsake that would be special in that little tiny one there. So that is those two frames. I think also incorporating family photos or just photos that show who you are as a person, your life and whatever. There's nothing more cozy and homey than going into someone's space and seeing those memories kind of scattered throughout their home. I think it's a really nice reflection of their life. So I try to do that when possible. This artwork here above is actually from Target several years back. It is a sketch of a tree with a black frame. I am not opposed to buying new. I do a lot of thrifting and secondhand shopping, but there are some pieces new that I do love and I will pick up, this being one of them. I find artwork for me very difficult to purchase and buy. I am very picky when it comes to color, obviously, and also just I need artwork to kind of speak to me, and I think a lot of people feel that way about artwork, so it can be hard to find personally for me. I would love to find a piece here that is a bit more meaningful and maybe kind of suits the space a bit better, but for now I do love the sketch. I am a huge fan of sketches. I think they are timeless, so I've got it there for now. Moving on, this is two pieces, or actually three, I suppose, of ironstone. So I've recently been collecting ironstone. I love it. It is super timeless, again, in my opinion. Quality is there, and I just think there's something about that like old antique, beautiful, crisp white servingware that just gives that nod to, I guess, a traditional type of design, but again, feels really homey and nice. So I have thrifted actually this whole set, which was amazing because it all matches, and sometimes that's really hard to do thrifting. You find one piece of ironstone, but you can't find the rest of the collection sometimes. But I was really lucky and I found this kind of all matching. So this, I believe, is just a little sugar bowl maybe. I'm not totally sure what the purpose was for all of these items, but all of it is stamped at the bottom. So that's one way you can tell. I am not an expert in ironstone. If it's not stamped, I don't always know if it is or isn't ironstone. The stamp for sure obviously helps, but this one here I'll kind of bring closer to the camera. It has a stamp. And yeah, these were all in amazing condition when I bought them. No chips or damage. And I love the shape of them. A lot of ironstone is very ornate or has a lot of color to it. You often see it in greens or reds, which is awesome, but just personally not my taste. I tend to lean towards the white and more neoclassical or straight line look. So I loved this little one, and then to find it in the big version was again amazing. This is I think it's like a soup tureen kind of one. Again, it has the stamp on the bottom. I've actually got some napkin rings in it right now stored. But yeah, really beautiful again. Matches perfectly with this one. Great serving piece for hosting, and then to match with it, I've got this platter. So it's got, I'll kind of come closer to show you the detail, this ribbing kind of, and then again, it's got the stamp on the back, which is nice to kind of identify that. So really, really pretty set. I think I will have it forever. These pieces have been around forever, so I suppose that is a good indication that, again, the quality is there. And yeah, I think there's nothing more beautiful than having those really crisp white pieces displayed in a cabinet or wherever. But my goal is to collect it, and obviously that takes time, but I would one day love to have a nice collection of all of the ironstone pieces that I personally lean towards. So that's that. This guy here is quite the conversation starter. It is a recent thrift find that I got. I do not have any statues within my home. This is the first one that I have, but there is something about going into someone's home, I think, and seeing a bust or a statue that just makes the home feel very elevated, in my opinion. I remember growing up, my grandparents had a couple of them within their home, and every time I would go to visit, I would, admire them from afar. And I just always felt like that it was such a grand thing to have within your home. And I think they give off that feeling, at least for me. And so sculpturally, they add so much texture, so much shape. And so when I saw this one at the thrift store, I was so excited. I loved that it was this dark tone. Again, I like incorporating some darker tones within my home because everything is so light and airy. So it had great texture, a lot of depth. I loved that it was kind of on this pedestal base here. It is by a sculptor named Robert Burks, I believe is his name. It's signed on the back. I did look up his work, and he's done some really amazing sculptures, larger pieces, smaller pieces. This one is of Abraham Lincoln. Has no significance to me whatsoever. I just liked it personally. So it means nothing in terms of that, but again, not everything has to have a meaning. I think if you're drawn to something, then that's good enough for me at least. So yeah, his work was really interesting though to look up, and I think that on this cabinet, it just kind of suits the space really nice. And yeah, he's lived with us for a little bit now, and I have been thoroughly enjoying the look it gives off. So moving on to this little piece here, I talked about this one in a previous video. It is a antique crock in this beautiful brown tone. I kind of liked the look of the two same tone patterns or whatever on the cabinet and then kind of repeating within the pottery there. But yeah, I always pick up a crock when I see it at the thrift store because they're often a much better price, and they're super simple to style with, in my opinion. You know, stick some nice greenery in there, put some spoons in it in a kitchen. They're very versatile. They give that age worn-in look, add that character, and of course that is what I am personally drawn to and love to incorporate within my home. So I've stuck some faux florals. Once we get a little bit more growth within our backyard here, I will for sure be trying to put some real stems in there. Other than that, that is really the cabinet styling. I probably will be changing this up in a few weeks as I incorporate new pieces within my home, but for now I have been liking it, and I hope that this gave you some ideas, some inspiration, and yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, and thank you for joining me on this one. Take care.